this week we've made it all the way to Bridgeport, Connecticut. Everybody keeps pointing me in the direction of Seaside Park. It's been around since 1865. It's 370.7 acres. I'm really curious to find out what this park has to offer. High tide and low tide is very important for our ocean ecosystem. And also it affects land and the marine animals that live right on the line between ocean and land. Right now it's high tide, and I think it's pretty obvious. And there's a lot of forces that affect whether a tide is going to be high or low. Right now the tide is extra high because there's a lot of wind which pushes the water farther offshore. The moon has a gravitational pull on the ocean as well. So the force of the winds and the gravitational pull of the moon actually creates for a very high tide, which is why this wall was put here, because it's a fairly common event and it helps protect the land from erosion, whereas other parts of the world it's actually a very big problem. Otherwise it's really neat and interesting to see the force that nature can have. I feel like I just stumbled into a sheller's paradise. This beach was covered about 4 hours ago, just full of water. This rock jetty, the only thing you could see on it was the very tops of the rocks, and that gives you a pretty good example of the drastic difference that high tide and low tide can make. But also, the cool thing about the tides is that when they exit, they leave behind a whole bunch of shells, and that's exactly the case of this beach right now. Now, I've seen a lot of beaches in my time, and I love the beach, I love the sand and everything about it, but never have I seen shells quite like these. And this is really cool stuff, but I don't generally see a whole bunch of this. And there's all types. You see kind of like this one right here, kind of what you might think of if you're thinking of seafood soup. On the other hand, if you're looking for pearls, this might be your ticket, something like that. This is just really neat. The hinges are still intact, they're just missing the insides, and of course probably a seagull or some other type of animal probably ate them. The other parts you have like rocks or shells with shells attached to other shells or in the insides. This is really cool. There's such a variety here. I could spend all day here, but of course high tide's going to come in again, take out some of this stuff and bring in some new. I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. As I was riding my bike up on this pathway, I was just searching down here on the sand, looking for anything interesting, anything that might catch my eye. And of course there's these ton of seashells which just practically fill the beach, it seems like. But also I caught a glimpse of this guy, which used to be a horseshoe crab. It's not anymore, it's not dead. It's the skeleton of a horseshoe crab. Now, they're crustaceans, which means they have their skeleton on the outside of their body. It's called an exoskeleton. It's just missing its tail, this one right here. It's in two segments, and then of course the tail would be the third one. You can even see where the eyes were. Whenever they grow too big for their shell, they'll shed that shell off, their new one will harden, and then they'll just go on their way. So this is actually out there in the ocean doing whatever it is that horseshoe crabs do best. And of course this one's in two parts. I don't know if it's the same animal because it's different coloration, even right behind you. Let me show you, hold on a second. Just gotta watch your step so you don't step on some of these things. Here's also the remnants of a little crab. It's not a horseshoe crab, but this one is dead. Actually, it's got the legs, and it was probably eaten out by seagull. And they're all over the place, and they really take advantage of what the ocean has to offer. But it's part of it. He's left the shell, but there's really a lot of things around here. A little bit earlier I saw a seagull feeding on a lobster, so there's a lot of variety, there's a lot of diversity, and that is what's so important about the ocean. There's so much in the ocean, so much we haven't discovered. What I went to get is just this lobster tail. Humans aren't the only animals that like to eat lobsters. I don't know if the seagull had butter with it though. But either way, seriously, there's so much diversity, so much variety in the ocean, and that's one of the great reasons why we need to conserve it, because we don't know what's out there, and we really do need to. Every year year, more and more people move to the coastal areas that are found all around the world. And what we need to do is make sure we develop these areas responsibly. There's a very delicate ecosystem at work here that we need to make sure that we don't destroy. Also, billions of dollars are spent because of the damages that are done after storm surge. People are killed as well. There's a reason that people come to these places. We need to make sure that reason isn't lost. Well, so far at Seaside Park, we've learned what you can find whenever you keep your eyes open to the small things. We've seen the remnants of horseshoe crabs, seen some really awesome shellfish, seen the drastic difference between high tide and low tide. But do you ever sit back and wonder why animals do what they do? Take these seagulls for example. Now normally they eat on dead carcasses, they are scavengers, they eat crabs, shellfish, that sort of thing. And I was out here the other day during feeding time. And what they would do, they would grab the shellfish. Since they can't break open the shellfish on their own, they'll fly up in the air, drop it on the rocks, which then breaks it open, and then they can eat the meat inside. Smart, right? Well, actually, animal intelligence is a pretty hot debate among scientists these days. But what they do all agree on is that we have so much to learn from nature, so much to learn from the environment. We just have to make sure that it's around for us to learn from. And that's our job. Me and you, all of us. We all have a responsibility to take care of this. And I think everyone would agree we want it to be around. We just have to make sure it happens, because I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose all the other places we still have yet to see. And I'm really anxious to get to those places, so we should get going. Thanks for coming along. I really hope you guys had a good time. I certainly did. Until next time, my name's Adam Murdoch. Take care.